Okay, so this is a 2011 Kia Sedona, and I'm replacing the spark plugs. The first three are easy to get to. You just take the electrical connections off, three 10mm bolts. You can pull the ignition coil out. Easy to get to. The next three are not so easy. You're going to have a 10mm nut right here, a 10mm nut right here, and then you're going to have three 10mm bolts. Those were the first things that I took off. Then you're going to have two more 10mm bolts right here and right here. Then I took off all the connections that connect to this. Well, almost all of them. There's an electrical connection here, and then one more electrical connection right there, electrical. Then over here, connected, you're going to have another electrical connection that's mounted to the frame of the intake. So I undid this one right here, undid that 10mm bolt. Then you've got another electrical connection right here, and then another electrical connection right there. Undid those, you pull these out of the way, and then you can, well, it wouldn't lift up at the time, but you can kind of get back here. Okay, so right back here, let's see if I'm getting it. Okay, right where my hand is, there is a 14mm bolt that needs to come out, and the intake is bolted to the frame right where my hand's at. There's one 14mm bolt. Then the other one that you need to get is this one. That's a 10mm bolt, I believe, and I think it actually goes right here. So you've got a 10mm bolt right here and a 14mm back here. Okay, now coming over to this side, coming off of this again, you'll have two more electrical connections. One plugs in right here. The other plugs in right there. This is also bolted to the frame with a 10mm bolt. Most all these are 10mm bolts. As you can see, I've got them all laid out right here. So then, I undid this hose. I think it's like maybe some type of brake hose or something, I'm not sure. Anyway, that mounts right here to the frame. I undid that one because it's really hard to lift up whenever this is connected. This would probably be a good time to clean out your throttle body, which I'm going to do. Since it's wide out in the open, just open that up, spray some throttle body cleaner, and get in there good with the rag. So at this point, the only other bolt that you need to undo is kind of a tricky one. I don't know if you can actually see it on the camera, but it is right, let's see, where is it at? It's right here. Right there, I believe that's where it's at. Yep, that's it. That's a 12mm bolt, and that's the last bolt that you need to undo. Well, for me anyway, I was able to lift it up enough so then I could get to the remaining three ignition coils. Let's see if I can get a good angle on the camera here. 1, 2, and 3. So I was able to lift it up to get to those three. And like I said, it's just like the first ones. You just take your three electrical connections out, three 10mm bolts, you pull the ignition coil out, and then get in there with your wrench and do the same thing. And I was able to do that. It's just like that. Take your spark plug out, put your new one on, stick it in there, tighten it down, and then have your ignition coils. Put your ignition coil back in, your 10 millimeter bolt, and the electrical connection. So if you need to move this out of the way even more, you can undo this. Undo this hose. Let me put this back. You can undo this hose right here, and then also there's one back here behind the throttle body. It's not easy to get to, but you can if you want to. It might take a couple seconds, but I didn't have to. I was able to move it just enough to where I didn't have to do that. So, and I'm gonna put those spark plugs back in and then make all the connections. But that's basically everything that I had to unhook. So, all right, that'll do it.